Hello boys and girls, welcome back to another English language lesson for grade 7. And today we want to look at an introduction to phrases and clauses. I hope you're ready to learn. Let's dive in. A phrase. Ask yourself the question, what is a phrase? Have you ever heard that word before? This is an opportunity to learn about this word. Now, a phrase is a group of words that make some sense, but not complete sense. Therefore, a phrase cannot be used as a sentence. A phrase does not have a subject or verb. And I want to say this again. A phrase cannot be used as a sentence. And a phrase does not have a subject or verb. What is a clause? And in this context, we're not talking about Santa Claus. We are looking at the clause in the English language. Now, a clause is a group of words that makes complete sense. Say it with me. A clause is a group of words that makes what? Complete sense. A clause must have a subject and a verb. A clause must have a subject and a verb. Very good. Now let's examine two sentences. And we are going to differentiate between the clause and the phrase in both sentences. Are you ready? Let's go. Sentence 1. Harish reached the station in time. Harish reached the station in time. Now, why is this part of the sentence the clause? Because it contains the subject and the verb. And the subject in this sentence is Harish. Very good. And the verb is reached, which tells us that in time is the phrase in the sentence. Let's look at sentence 2. Sarita was sitting in a corner. Sarita was sitting in a corner. Sarita was sitting, that's the clause, because we have the subject Sarita and the verb, what is the verb? Was. Alright? We have the verb was. Alright, students? So, boys and girls, it's activity time. Are you ready? Now, I'm going to read some sentences. And in each sentence, you're going to see a part of it is underlined. Now, what I want you to do for me, you are going to shout right there, right at your screen, right at your television, whether that underlined part of the sentence is a phrase or a clause. Are you ready? Let's go. Sentence 1. In spite of the heavy rains, we reached on time. And we see in this sentence, in spite of the heavy rains, that is underlined. Is this a phrase or a clause? Shout it out. Now, if you said phrase, you're correct. Because what? We don't see a subject or a verb in this part of the sentence. It does not make complete sense. We know that something is missing. Sentence 2. She passed her test because of her teacher. And the part of the sentence that is on the line reads, because of her teacher. Is this a phrase or a clause? Shout it out. This is a phrase. Because when we read that because of her teacher, something is missing. It does not make complete sense. Sentence 3. She failed her exams because she had a bad teacher. She failed her exams because she had a bad teacher. And the part of the sentence that is underlined reads, she failed her exams. Is this a phrase or a clause? Shout it out. This is a clause. Very good, because we have a subject, she, and the verb failed. And it makes sense. It makes complete sense. She failed her exams. Sentence 4. Though she performed well in the interview, she didn't get the job. And the part of the sentence that is underlined reads, in the interview. Is this a phrase or a clause? Shout it out. This is a phrase. Very good. Because we realize that it does not have a subject or a verb. Let's continue. Sentence 5. In spite of his good grades, he couldn't secure admission in a good college. And the part of the sentence that is underlined reads, he couldn't secure admission in a good college. Is this a phrase or a clause? Shout it out. This is a clause. Very good, because it has a subject and a verb. Sentence 6. Driven by the storm, we took shelter under a bridge. Driven by the storm, we took shelter under a bridge. And the part of the sentence that is underlined reads, we took shelter under a bridge. Is this a phrase or a clause? What is your answer? Clause. Very good. Because once again, this part of the sentence has a subject and a verb, and it makes complete sense. Number 7. Having delivered the message, he departed. Having delivered the message, he departed. And the part of the sentence that is underlined reads, having delivered the message. Is this a phrase or a clause? Now, if you said phrase, you're correct. Having delivered the message, what? It leaves us with a question. It does not contain a subject or a verb. Very good. Let's continue. Number 8. Not knowing what to do, she stood there motionless. Not knowing what to do, she stood there motionless. And the part of the sentence that is underlined reads, not knowing what to do. Is this a phrase or a clause? What is your answer? This is a phrase. Very good. It does not express a complete thought. Number 9. Now that he is married, he has become more responsible. Now that he is married, he has become more responsible. And the part of the sentence that is underlined reads, he has become more responsible. Is this a phrase or a clause? This is a clause. Very good. It contains a subject and a verb, and it makes complete sense. And finally, number 10. Despite her protests, they took the child away. Despite her protests, they took the child away. And the part of the sentence that is underlined reads, they took the child away. Is this a phrase or a clause? This is a clause. Very good. We have the subject they and the verb took. And it makes complete sense. Now, this brings us to the end of our lesson for today. I want to thank you for participating. I hope you had a great time because I did. And until we meet again, this is Sir Jared, and I'm out.